Let's bring in retired FBI Special Agent John Iannarelli. John, it's fortunately rare, this kind of violence in this country, but somebody went to an awful lot of work here, and that suggests an awful lot of hatred for those particular individuals.
John, it absolutely does. We have seen these types of acts before, usually in criminal matters for home invasion, for financial gain, or revenge of some kind. But to do this, to target politicians, all the effort, the uniform, the car, the police lights, etc., a lot of planning went into this. And I would add, John, one of the reasons they're probably still looking for this guy is he staked out the area. He looked at maps. He knew well enough of his route of escape if he needed to make one. A lot of planning and a lot of preparation on this subject's behalf.
And he's frankly lucky. I mean, he got into a shootout with trained officers. One presumes he is not all that well trained with a pistol. I guess that is a big presumption on my part. But he got into a shootout with officers and apparently got away unscathed.
I would think that if somebody's planning this type of attack and going through all the nomenclature of police uniforms, vehicles, etc., he's probably trained as well and able to use a firearm, able to evade gunfire from the responding officers, which he assumed at some point he's going to have to encounter and probably encounter again unless he decides to give up. This person is dangerous, and that's one of the reasons the neighbors, the area, they need to lock down and be very careful until this person is taken into custody. Think of what happened in Boston just a few years back with the terrorist attack. The shooter that was eventually arrested hid on someone's property inside a boat, and it was days before he was actually located and arrested by the police.
Yeah, it's absolutely essential that people there in that area stay in their homes, lock the doors, and make sure they don't, answer them like the police have said. The presence of the FBI, what does that bring to this equation? I mean, the police there have done a great job so far just in encountering this guy at a home where they didn't know that a shooting had already taken place. But the FBI and its capabilities, what do they bring?
For the FBI to be involved, it's an absolute force multiplier. First of all, you have tons and tons of agents that can come in from not only locally, but brought in from other divisions to help enhance the law enforcement manpower, going house to house, doing a search with the SWAT teams. But the FBI also has special equipment and techniques collecting evidence, using their database to look at any connection to the subject and other people who they'll spread out across the country and interview anybody who's ever known this guy. A lot of that's going to help down the road in prosecution, but right now, hopefully it's going to help in locating and arresting the subject.
Since they know who he is, they presumably know his cell phone number. And even if he didn't bring it with him last night or, found a burner phone, bought a burner phone, whatever, he probably would have been making calls in the days and weeks ahead of this. Will they be able to track some of those numbers, some of those people he was calling, and find out what he was up to?
By this time, the FBI already has cell phone records from whatever the provider is, and they're going to know every person they've been in contact with, and be able to look up those numbers and see who those people are. They're not only being called, they're probably being paid visits at this right moment. Additionally, they're going to be able to track previously where that person has been, looking at his cell phone history, physically, what towers he's pinging off of in the past. So they're going to know how long he's been in the area, when he's visited there before, part of his planning. And also, it may give rise to places he's gone that perhaps could be where he's trying to get to hide.
Would you suspect he is still in that area, or do you think he may have had an accomplice who helped him get out of there?
We don't know yet if he's working with anyone. He probably put some thought into a backup plan of how do I get away. But without his vehicle, he's going to be on foot unless he's stolen another car, carjacked somebody. And again, that's only going to be reported if the person hasn't been taken hostage. We don't know, and it would be pure speculation. My guess is they have a perimeter. He's probably hidden somewhere in that perimeter. And as your other guests have said, it's a painstaking, exact process to search every square inch to make sure he's not squirreled away in some small corner somewhere.
Yeah, your memory of the search for the Boston bomber suspects is certainly a case in point. John Iannarelli. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.